Can we just discuss the fact that no matter how many brain surgeries Ryan has, she still looks like stunning with her hair? And I haven't had brain surgery in the last 6 months, and I'm like, hot mess express always coming through. Amazing.
I don't know about that. It's like I'm going with this strategic like ear tuck thing because like the hair they shaved here is starting to grow back. And so like it looks like this weird, like I looked yesterday at church whenever I walked into the mirror, like when we were out to eat, and it was like this weird thing sticking out. And I was like, what is happening with my hair?
Yeah, the grow back's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah. So but they didn't shave as much this time as they did last time. And so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Your hair's getting longer too. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like when you first cut it, it was like up here, and now it's like all
I know. I'm glad it's growing quickly. It's all by glow. It's all
it's
by
all
glow.
that glow.
Oh, look, it's blurred out. I'm in my bathroom and I could turn my blur off, but then y'all would know that I use shampoo.
I mean, the tragedy of that happening.
I know, right?
Over the top.
Okay, let's see.
We'll get started right on time, but I'm sure everyone will join like 5 minutes in because
Of course. Okay.
Okay. If y'all are not getting dressed, if you are not in your bathroom naked or getting dressed at the moment and you can turn your camera on, please do. It's kind of one of those, who were we talking to recently? Oh, Jill Renfro was saying that she makes everyone turn their camera on. And I get that, except sometimes people's cameras are actually really distracting because you see like they're actually doing all the things, or they're like in their bed half asleep, or all the things. So I would love for you to turn your camera on, but I would also love for you to just be attentive to what Ryan is talking about because she's taking time out of her day to talk to our team. So it's 12 o'clock. I'm going to get started and it's already recording. But here's a few reasons why I love Ryan and why I think that you're going to glean so much wisdom from her. There is so much backstory I probably don't know about Ryan. So I'm hoping that we kind of get like some of that today. But things I know about her is she's bold. I've been on focus groups with her with corporate, but I've also been with her like on trips. We've been on golf carts in Mexico and all the things. And I just can see boldness in the way that she talks about everything she believes in. If Ryan believes in something, it is like all in, bold speak. And I love that. Here's what's interesting. She loves our comp plan and she will fight to the death that we as a field get every single penny out of our comp plan that we can. I think that's so neat to see. And she has such a marketing mindset. So there's so much like behind the scenes, that kind of thought process that goes into how she actually shows up on social. So I can't wait to see what she's going to bring to us today. Funny fact, Ryan and I live really close to each other, like so much so that we were at the same Tennessee basketball game recently because her husband's a huge Tennessee fan, and the opposing team, Gonzaga, their star player went to high school where my kids go to high school. So it was kind of one of those funny, like, what do you do? Like kind of like wrong area of town, but yet we were both there. So I just think it's fun that we all get to do real life together. And then we also get to do elaborate, luxurious vacations together. So I cannot wait to hear what Ryan brings to the table. And I would really encourage you to take notes, put question marks in the margin where you have a question, put stars by things that you need to take action on. And then without writing every single word down, write the key points that apply directly to you, where you are in your business right now, that are going to move that forward. So without further ado, Ryan, tell us what you have.
Okay, so Andrea's right. I love our compensation plan. I love our business. I love Plexus. And I also want to start off by saying that there are things that I'm going to say that maybe resonate with you, and there are things that you're going to want to throw away in the trash, and you have permission to do that. So much of my business has been led by my faith. And so if that doesn't mix with you or work with that, feel free to throw it in the trash. Okay. But for others of you, that might be something that you hold on to and run with. Sometimes I tell my story and how I got started, and other times I don't. But I do think that I have one of the most powerful testimonies in Plexus. So I think I'm going to share that with you today, and I'll try and give you the short version when you should know that it's kind of a long one. So I actually hated Plexus. Okay. I was very, very poor. I lived paycheck to paycheck, and I could not afford to pay all of my bills. So that meant that in order for us to eat, I was not paying a bill. Jessica Heffley, good friend of mine, we were in the same sorority in college. They called them clubs where we went, sororities are naughty. And so they call them clubs and not sororities. And Jessica had gone off the deep end. She had become a complete psycho, posting, 5 or 6 times a day about Plexus. I was the director of a child development center at the time. And that school was open 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I had 144 students, 22 employees, and I was juggling lots of balls in the air, had 2 kids, and was living in a really, really scary, unhappy marriage at the time. And I got really angry when I saw people who were feeling good and making money, right? If you're stuck, it's a really hard place. And the reason I tell you this is because this might be some people in your audience, right? There's going to be, if you have haters, flip the script and put yourself in their shoes for a second. When you're feeling really, really sick, and you have no money, there's something inside of you that really dislikes seeing people who are feeling good making money. Jessica Heffley was messaging me all the time. Now, I had a lot of health issues after I had my oldest son in 2011. I speaking of my hair growing long, I was losing most of my hair. I had lost most of my eyelashes, especially in one eye. I was going to a hematologist oncologist every 2 weeks to once a month, depending on how he would space it out. His name was Dr. Koch. He was an amazing doctor, but he would analyze my blood work, and he would look at all the nutrients that I wasn't absorbing. He would put it into a nice little cocktail, and I would sit there hooked up with all the cancer patients, and they would feed me all of the nutrients that I needed to survive until my next appointment with him. Sometimes my hemoglobin level would be low, and I would also get a blood transfusion. And honestly, there's not a great story for this. Now, this is not compliant, mute the button, but I was diagnosed with celiac disease. And so, I was on this super strict no gluten diet. And I'm embarrassed to say I missed this part a little bit, but not. I was down to 109 pounds. I was down to 109 pounds. I was very, very, very thin. It didn't matter what I did. I couldn't gain weight. I couldn't gain muscle, which probably contributed to the hair loss and not sleeping, Raynaud's, no circulation in my extremities. So many health issues. And I'm stacking up medical bills. In fact, I had over 6 figures of medical bills when I eventually finally started Plexus. And Jessica Heffley, I had to block because she's a psycho, right? I blocked Jessica Heffley, and Jessica shows up to my work. And she welcomes herself into my office as I'm navigating all the children. And she's like, help me understand what's going on with you. And now Jessica would tell you that she was shaking because apparently I'm kind of intimidating. I was pretty bold on social media that if you were in a network marketing company that I was going to block you because nothing makes me angrier than people that are trying to take my money for snake oil. That's ridiculous. It was, the lash thing was big. Do you remember the fiber lash? I was like, I ain't got no lashes to attach that junk to. So you're gone. And I'm very thin, so I don't need slim. Thank you. So I was really quite rude about it. So I blocked her. She comes into my office. She tell me about what's going on with you. And so, I talked to her and I'm like, Jessica, let's pretend like I wanted to try Plexus. I don't have the money. Like I had negative in my bank account, guys, all the time. It was just not something that I could do. And she said, what if I gave it to you? What if I gave you 1 month? Now, I don't recommend doing that unless the Lord really, really speaks to you, because it devalues our product, right? Our product is worth what you pay for it. But she gifted me the triplex, which if there's new people on here, that's going to be the slim, the pink drink. That's ProBio 5 and BioCleanse. So our probiotic and our BioCleanse, which is like magnesium, vitamin C supercharged. Okay. And she also gifted me X Factor Original, just our multivitamin. So I said, Jessica, I'm going to take this. I'll take it every single day. And when it doesn't work, I'm going to let everyone know that you're a fraud and that you're stealing people's money. Because I was like over it. Okay. We were both leaders in the church at that time. I was over the middle school ministry. She was pretty actively involved when she wasn't doing Plexus, which I really judged, Can't you share more about church than Plexus? Come on. And so I did. I started taking the product and she's checking in on me every day, checking in on me. How's it going? Did you drink your pink drink? I also was drinking a lot of soda. So, in fact, if you look back at some of the old testimonies that are posted out there, you'll see I actually was given free, listen to this, free Coca-Cola Classic from the oncology hematologist department, because it's what they would do with like cancer patients to make them feel happy while they're getting their treatments. So I had all this free soda and it was always in my pictures and I was going to send it in to the Coca-Cola company. So I was documenting my journey so I could show how much Coca-Cola Classic made my life better. Y'all, if you know anything about what was going on with me, Coca-Cola Classic inhibits every single thing my body was trying to absorb. So, anyway, that's just a fun little side note. So I take Plexus, and the first thing I noticed is that I fell asleep, and I never just fell asleep. Sleeping was a huge struggle for me. I also had pretty bad acne, and my skin started to look good. And I was like, this cannot be the Plexus, because I really needed to be able to tell people, that this was terrible. I also, deep down in my heart, knew that I could not afford to continue to buy this product. So I was feeling a little guilty, because even if it did help, I would feel bad because I know Jessica gave it to me and I could not afford to keep buying it. But I did. I took it and I continued to really start to feel quite a bit better. It's kind of like I found myself again. So it was actually the 30th day. The Lord works in crazy, mysterious ways. The 30th day I took Plexus and went in to Dr. Koch's office and got my blood work all ran, and I was ready to go back to get my infusion. And I had been doing this for almost 4 years. And it was the first time in 4 years where Dr. Koch came in. He said, your blood work looks perfect. He's like, you don't have to have anything done today. And I am like, oh my word, what am I going to do? I was in disbelief. In fact, so was he, because that evening at 8, yeah, his name is Dr. Coke. It started with a K, but that evening at like 8 o'clock at night, I got a text. Dr. Coke had never texted me. He texted me from his personal cell phone to my personal cell phone. He said, I'm not comfortable. I think you need to come back in tomorrow. I have a feeling we didn't do your blood work right. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. So I went back in. He ran it again. And he was like, this is unbelievable. What did you do? And I was like, oh, the only thing that I have changed is that I took this stuff called Plexus. And I was so like embarrassed to tell him this. And this is a funny story. If you've ever heard of Diamond Carissa Casey, Dr. Coke is actually her uncle. There are people that hooked me up for that almost 4 years, and they still religiously to this day order ProBio 5 from me because they saw how well it worked. Funny story, Carissa Casey's not on my team, but is an amazing diamond, and she loves that story because that's so interesting to her. But I still couldn't afford to take the product. Ended up telling, it was actually my in-laws at the time, and they loved network marketing, and they bought me a welcome pack. They wanted me to continue. They could see. So they actually paid for my welcome pack, let me borrow the money. I knew I needed to pay them back. Didn't know how I was ever going to pay them back. But went in and got the, of course, wholesale price, because that's what you do when you're poor, right? You get the wholesale price. I had no intention of ever working that business. And then it was like 2 days later after I was signed up. At the time I had an 8-month-old. Now, y'all don't hate me. The Lord just blessed me with this, but I had children that slept through the night, period. My children never woke up. And my 8-month-old woke up hungry. I was not expecting that because I had nothing to feed him. I had no formula. I had nothing. And so I had to put him to bed hungry because I had negative in my bank account. There was no way I could get the money. I knew that the next day was payday and he was just going to have to hold off until I was able to go to work and get my paycheck and get it in the bank and go buy formula. And that night, I remember laying in my kitchen floor, bawling, crying because I hear him screaming. I've shut him up in the room because he's hungry and I have nothing to give him, right? A bottle of water was not working. He did not want that. He was a real chubby little thing too. He liked food. He loved groceries. And I remember sitting in my kitchen floor, I'm scrolling Facebook mindlessly, and I had been added to all the team pages, not working the business right, but I came across the power of 3, where I saw a number close to $15,000. And when I saw 15, I thought that is more than $1,000 a month. More than $1,000 a month would more than cover food for my babies. And so it was late at night. I just sent Jessica a quick little message. I was like, okay, how would I get that $15,000 a year? And of course, Jessica, being who she is, at 1 or 2 a.m. calls me on the phone. She's like, hey, what are you looking at? And I tell her, like, well, I saw that power of 3 thing, and it was like 14,000 something. It was close to 15. She's like, no. That's a month. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah. You get 3 people, you help them get 3 people, you do that 7 levels deep, you'd get that much a month just in pay points. We get paid lots of other ways. And it was like a switch flipped, because I had prayed so hard that the Lord send me something for my health. I had prayed so hard that somehow my family's finances would change. And it was like, your health is better. You have proof. And here's a comp plan to go along with it. And from that minute on, I ran with it. Now, this is an addition part of my story that a lot of people haven't heard yet, but it was 14 days after that I was in a horrible marriage. 14 days after that, my husband at the time strangled me, and I was left as single mom of 2 kids. And in that year, built an emerald business and was able to continue to work full-time, volunteered at the church full-time, and built an emerald business full-time, which is full-time. It was a lot of work. I don't want to sugarcoat that. It was a lot of work. And lots of therapy. But the best thing I've ever spent my money on is therapy. If you're not in therapy, go get you some. All healthy people go to therapy. So I got some fantastic therapy, for my ex-husband at the time, and we ended up getting remarried. If you know anything about the cycle of abuse, I was for sure caught in that cycle of abuse. I mean, educated woman, knew all the right things, right? But super caught in there, still building a great, healthy business with Plexus, still working full time at a school, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And finally decided I was going to quit. I quit that full-time job and decided to just do Plexus full-time. I had never had the pleasure of being a stay-at-home mom before. You know, the kids went straight into the school, and I could gift that. Plexus gifted me being able to be a stay-at-home mom. It was a year after my husband and I got remarried that the abuse picked up, and he actually broke my jaw. And so here I was, when I had quit my job. I did have my Plexus Lexus though, and I had never had a nice car before. And I was in the hospital. We lived in like a little small town in Arkansas. And in the hospital, I asked the police officer when he came in, I said, "Can I take my kids out of state?" And he said, "You need to take your kids and go to Canada." Because of course they had seen this play out. They had seen this play out. They were like ready for me to be done. And y'all, that's not what I did. I didn't go to Canada, but I left the hospital that day with a recovering broken jaw. And I put my boys in my little NX Lexus and I drove north, right? Because Canada's somewhere up there, and I could go wherever I wanted because I wasn't tied to a job. And I was making I had just gone Sapphire, I was making Sapphire money, and landed in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, rented myself a tiny little 800 square foot rent house, which I was in a 1,000 square foot shack in Searcy, Arkansas, and I moved to an 800 square foot tiny little rent house in Wisconsin. And I built another pretty business. I got 5 jewels? I don't know. I see one of them on here. I see Kim on here. 5 jewels up there in Wisconsin while I was there, and like totally restarted my life. Of course, the cycle of abuse continued. My husband didn't divorce him that time because I was too embarrassed, right? Came up there, and actually he ended up trying to take my life. And so the only reason I'm alive today is because my 2 boys, who at the time were 4 and 6, almost 7, they saved my life. And so I was a diamond. And guess what I could do? I could put my kids in my new larger Lexus. But we actually left. I mean, we left without, one didn't have pants, one didn't have shoes. I mean, we left quickly. And had I not from the beginning had that plexus income, I have no doubt in my mind that I would not be alive today. It gave me the freedom and the ability to be able to just walk away and know that I could completely and totally provide for my boys. And so I came home. Dallas is home to me. I came home finally, and I was able to buy my dream home, which to most people maybe isn't that impressive. It's just a regular house in the Dallas area, but it was in a gated community. It was a beautiful home. Now I'm in an even better one. I'm in Frisco, Texas, which is, I'm an even better, it's unimaginable. But all throughout that, I had a really steady paycheck. In fact, it was the month that I moved in to my new home that I had to take a step back. I wasn't able to work my business the way that I was. I had to take a step back, but my team knew that they had to step up because I wasn't there, and they actually got me to be a re-entry diamond that month, first month that I was able to move. And it was one of the most amazing gifts because it was completely deserved. I had done nothing that month or in the 2 months leading up to that to earn that. It was the gift of residual income, the gift of having a team that loved me like a family. I will forever be very, very grateful. So I do think that's a super, super powerful story with Plexus. I have not had to have an infusion since I started Plexus. I have not had to struggle with my health the way that I did before I started. So, Dr. Koch is amazed, and I'm thankful that I have hair that will grow, even though I had a whole, when I got on, Andrea was talking about, I had a cholesteatoma tumor in my ear. It's nothing to do with, I'm not really sure that would be preventable. Actually, those are actually formed when there's quite a bit of head trauma. That's one of the number one causes. And so just quite a bit of head trauma to my head probably caused that tumor to form. And so but it took out my hearing and all that stuff, and it was just kind of a bummer, but thankful to be healing now. There is one of my favorite things to do. I know I have a few of my team on here, but I have like the most favorite exercise. I think it's a perfect thing to do in January. So I have questions. So if you have pen and paper or something, I'd love for you to write this down. And for some of you, this is going to be at different levels, okay? And we're going to focus on feelings. I know some people, listen, I'm not a feelings person. I don't really like to hug. I don't like to touch. I really don't like to talk about my feelings. But you don't have to talk about them with me. Just talk about them with your paper, okay? When you are a diamond, now for some of you, your head can't reach to diamond, okay? Try, but maybe it can only go to emerald. Okay, that's okay. What are you going to do? How are you going to feel? Tell me about, and let me ask some good questions to help get you in that mindset. When I'm a diamond, I'm going to be this kind of wife. When I'm a diamond, I'm going to be this kind of mom. When I'm a diamond, I'm going to be in this kind of shape. When I'm a diamond, I'm going to run my team page like this. When I'm a diamond, I'm going to show up on social media like this. And think about the feelings. Even just wake up. When I'm a diamond, I'm going to wake up and feel like this. When I'm a diamond and I see someone in the store and I know they need plexus, I'm going to feel like this when I approach them. Are you getting the idea? Am I asking enough questions? I really want it to sink in with you. Like, how are you going to feel? Is there, and type in the comment. I'm not even looking in the chat. I'd love if you would just type in the chat, like, let me know. And here's the thing. A lot of you are probably like, I know where this is going. We've done this before. Here's the thing. I have to do, there are some weeks I have to do this on a regular. Like the Bible talks about be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That is an active practice. You can't just do it once. You got to do it all the time. We have to be renewing our mind all the time. And so does anybody have anything that they could type in, like, or you're going to stop avoiding? That's kind of on my list. I didn't know how much time I would have, like, avoiding. I'm going to stop avoiding doing my taxes when I'm a diamond. That's what I told myself. When I'm a diamond, I am going to be so much better at doing my taxes. That's not true at all. Okay, so the whole idea behind this is, and what I've gotten from a lot of my team people is, when I'm especially when I'm coaching one-on-one, is, well, I'm going to feel a lot more confident. There's a confidence level that's there. Maybe I'm going to smile more. I'm going to be more patient. I think a lot of times, this is when I say this, I'm speaking to myself. I'm not like trying to talk to y'all. Well, like I was like, well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a 3,000 square foot house, and I'm going to have all the clothes. I mean, like all the clothes with the matching shoes, and I'm going to have the bag, and I'm going to have the hair for sure before my surgery. They're gone now, but I'm going to have all the things. And I could think of like monetary things that I wanted. My house is going to be so clean and organized. Okay. And so we think a lot of times of like what we're going to do. Oh, giving. In my heart, I have a goal to live off of 10% of what I make and give 90% of what I make. Okay. I want to give 90% of what I make and only have to live off of 10%. And y'all, and that 10%, I'm still going to have the bags and the shoes and the clothes. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking like I'm going to live well. The idea behind this is, if you're, in order to get there, whatever it is that you had to tell yourself, I don't know if you put down emerald or diamond or, reentry or whatever crazy points it is, whatever it is, if you're not doing that right now, you're never getting there. If you're like, when I'm a diamond, I'm going to give more. No, my friend, if you're not giving some of the $1,000 that you make right now, you're not going to give some of the $100,000 that you make then. If you're not approaching people with a smile and confidence like you're a diamond right now, you're not going to do it later. So do you see the gap? So do this activity, like write down, like, what kind of wife am I going to be? Do you think that it's because like, well, the financial stress is gone, so I'm just going to be a better wife, here's the thing. You actually have to put into practice all of those things right now to get to diamond. You have to be a diamond on your team page right now. You have to show up on social media like you are a diamond. Sometimes I kind of cringe at the fake it till you make it thing. And let me tell you why. Because there were years and years and years that I was abused horribly, and I was faking it, right? So I hate, there's so much I hate about the fake it till you make it thing, because I think that there's an aspect of that that's super, super unhealthy. But you are a wise, successful, kind, loving person. There's no faking about that. There's no faking about that. Also, just showing up and being vulnerable and there's an appeal to that right now. Like, people want to know I'm not the only one that feels like I'm drowning in dishes and laundry every day. It's relatable, right? But people do want to see it done well, because I believe that everything you do is kingdom work. And so when you show joy in the dishes and the sweeping and the laundry, it looks different and it's appealing. You can live an abundant, super happy life in the midst of laundry and dishes because it's kingdom work. It looks different. It's attractive to people. That might be something people want to throw in the trash, but I find it very, very valuable to me. And so write it out. Like, think about it. Ask yourself all the questions. What kind of mom? Think about as a mom, how am I going to operate as a diamond? You're kind of looking at like your ideal self, but some people have a hard time of just like knowing who their ideal self should be. But when you pose it in questions, I think it's really, really helpful. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple. What time is it? Y'all want to go? Okay, 12:35. I have other good suggestions. So I have this sheet that I do every day. It's called my day sheet. Okay, I write down a verse that I'm focusing on every day, and then I write down like my brain dump. Y'all have all done this. You have all the things on your mind. You need to brain dump it out. But the thing is then there's the 3 things that you must get done. Now, for me personally, when I brain dump, like I was doing right before this call, because I got this really neat candle. Can y'all see it? Do y'all know what this is? It's one of those anthropology candles. It costs $1 billion. No, okay, just kidding. It costs $36, which I think is quite expensive for a candle. But my husband and I have disagreements on what sophistication smells like, but that's not for this call. But surely this is sophisticated, right? $36, and I don't have a lighter. I was putting a lighter on my list of things to do, and I added that, and I thought, that's what I'm going to go do first. Does anybody do that? Like, you make your list, and I'm like, I for sure need, like, when this call is over, I for sure should go to Target and get lighters. That's my priority. Forget the fact that my son's room mom, I need to email out all the parents about Valentine's, but that could wait because I probably should go to Target and get a lighter. Okay, you get the idea. We make these lists and then we kind of like do what we want. If you'll do those things consistently, I want to challenge you. What is today? Let's see, the 23rd. Brain dump every single day. I have a free page. Y'all don't need to do this. I'm really not plugging myself because it's not anything impressive. But on my website, RyanKeepsItReal.com, I do have a My Day sheet you can print off. It has like random things to check off on there that were especially handy during the pandemic, which I don't know if I took those off or not, but like put on pants with a button. Like, friend, if every day you're not putting on pants with a button, you might be making a mistake, because how many of us didn't put on pants with the button and then, whoa, time to go shopping because not one pair of pants fit, after 2020. There's little things like that, but there's an area for you to brain dump. And then there's an area you're going to see a pattern. There are things that show up on that list every day. For me, those things are taxes. Okay. Or, for some people, I'm trying to think go on a walk. Who's going on a walk every single day? Like, your body needs to actively go on a walk and get sunshine every single day. The sun is not the devil. It is your body needs the sun. Just like a plant needs water and sun to grow, you need water and sun. You need it. I'm not saying to go lay out for 4 hours and get a mighty tan. Go walk and get some sun, even if it's cloudy. Okay. So look at your list and see what is it that you're avoiding and resisting. Okay. The last day of the month, everybody loves a deadline, right? Do every single thing before midnight on the last day of the month. Do not walk into a new month avoiding, resisting the same things. It is weighty. It weighs you down. And I'm telling you this right now, diamonds don't do that. Diamonds do exactly what they don't want to do, and they put it behind them so they can go to the store and buy a lighter for their $36 candle. Diamonds do the hard stuff first. I don't have the taxes on my list. Why? Because I've already checked it off, because I'm a diamond. Diamonds do the hard stuff first. The other thing is, everybody on this call, or maybe that's watching the recording, I want you to write down the name of the person that you want to do plexus with that's not doing it with you yet. If you're a believer in Christ and you want to take this a little bit farther, write down multiple names of people who do not know him yet. Unbelievers, write it down. I have it. I wish I could get up, because if you were to see in my bathroom, I have it's neat. I have like a hers and a his. I've never in my entire life had a home with more than one bathroom. Let that sink in. I always lived in a home with one bathroom. I have seven toilets. Every single person in my house can poop at the same time. It's so nifty. Anyway, but this cabinet, it opens up. That's where my vision board is. That's where my dream board is. If you haven't made a vision board or a dream board, you should make one. And you can't just make it virtually, okay? There's action in the cutting and the writing. Print it out. I did that. I printed it out. I cut it out. I looked through magazines, and it's inside the cabinets where I open it up every day to, get my washcloth, and I have my washcloth and makeup, all my hair stuff. It's in that cabinet. So it's in those cabinets. So it's not like some weird vision board that, if a visitor comes over to come into your room or your bathroom, they see it. It's in the cabinets, and I opened it up and it's all there. And I want you to put all the things that maybe you dream about, and it should list the person's name that you think should be doing plexus with you. Another great thing to do is list the qualities of the person that you want to do the business with you. Make a list of 10. Mine, I'm gonna go get up and open it, but I'm looking for a self-starter. I'm looking for someone with influence. I'm looking for someone with integrity, who's coachable, who's got social media presence, who's fun. I don't want to go on trips with people that aren't fun. These are people you're going to be doing life with. Like what kind of people do you want to do the business with? Write it all out and put it on your board. Because when you see it, your mind, if you see it every day, your mind is being reprogrammed to actively find those people. And if you wrote down people that are unbelievers, that you have a heart for, that you want to know the Lord, write those names down and keep them in there. And every time you open that cabinet, pray over them and ask the Lord what you can do that day, that week, to show them love. And I'm telling you, it's an amazing thing, because every year you have to mark people off your list and add people because they are neighbors with you. It's amazing how the Lord works like that. But it's the same thing. Okay, it's this attraction. You're constantly going to be renewing your mind with, when I'm a diamond, I'm going to, and then, I have to do that right now. And then all those things. Yes, I'm looking for somebody fun. I'm looking for an influencer. I'm looking for someone hungry. I was hungry. There's not as many hungry people in Frisco, Texas as there were Searcy, Arkansas. You know what I mean? So your list might change and evolve. And the last thing I have, let's see, what time is it? Okay. Last thing I have is, what book are you going to read? I heard a diamond tell me one time that she had never read a personal development book. And my mind almost exploded into tiny little pieces all over the place. And it told me, wow, there are a lot of people under you reading personal development books, because it is a growth plan compensation. You have to grow and become a better person, right? The leadership lid, does you know I'm talking about? Like, you cap your team. If you're not getting better, you've capped everyone. You have to continue to get better and better and better. And so I have a kid at home sick day. I'm worried he's going to walk in. That's one reason why this is blurred, because I don't want him to walk in with undies on. Okay. But what is it that, what is it that you're going to rewrite in your mind that will help you achieve the goal that you're looking for? And at the end of the year, you can start over and put all of them in a notebook. I have my notebook of all of my years, and it's super fun to look through, because there's crazy things. Like, I had a picture. Does anybody know who Dude Perfect is? I put a picture on my vision board. And it was 2017. And I put up a picture of Dude Perfect. I didn't know who they were, and I didn't really know why. It was the most thing. And it's Dude Perfect is here. Texas, and moved in their neighborhood. Now, they don't live in this neighborhood anymore. They've moved on, but that's kind of bizarre and weird. Like, something I had visualized, and now I'm like living in their neighborhood that they lived in back then. That's crazy. All right. I think, I do have here my notes. Maybe the Lord really needs you to know it. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see. It's gonna blur it out. Put on pants with a button if you're not. Somebody must really need to hear that, because I wrote it down. And make sure you're paying attention to what you're avoiding and resisting. Okay, I have time for questions.
Yeah, I think the pants with the button thing was for me, so thanks for that.
Okay, you're welcome.
Stretchy pants for the win on a daily basis, but if I put them on, I'm more likely to go for a workout. So I will say, I'll do
Yes.
the elastic waistband now, and I'll do button pants before I go to bed. Yes, me and my nude clothes that I wear every day.
I have on mine right now. Oh, you can't. Yeah. For the very purpose of, I have to go on a walk. I skipped yesterday and I put them on because I was like, yeah, I cannot make an excuse that I'm in Sunday clothes. So I'm not walking. I've got to put on my, yeah.
Got to put on the walking pants, but then come the button pants. So we do have about 12 minutes. I would love for someone to unmute and ask a question. You have Ryan here. You have a great story. You have great insight and wisdom. This is the time to ask. Don't message me afterwards and ask me a question about Ryan or about something she said. This is the time to unmute and ask the question yourself. So Diamonds Ask Questions. Who's ready to go?
I love questions. I mean, you can ask about anything. It doesn't have to be about anything. My favorite.
I want to know something. I want to know how fast you went silver. Was it like immediate, like the first day you?
Yeah. Okay. So that's fun because Jessica Heffley, she's going to make you do that, right? So I signed up and she says, okay, what's your plan to go silver? And y'all, I wrote it all out because I was wise. I wrote it all out. I had a goal to go silver in 1 year. 1 year. I was going to be able to get 3 people to join me. And she said, that's trash. And she literally, Jessica sat down and she wrote out every month of what rank I would hit when. And I hit every single one. And she said, you'll go silver this week. And I did. I went silver in 1 week. Yeah.
Ryan, I'll ask, just because I know enough about you that I want our people to hear it. What do you say to people that you've recruited who you know need the business, but who constantly express hesitation about jumping into the business? How do you deal with those kind of objections?
Yeah, that's really tricky. A lot of that comes back to belief. I mean, I was super, super hesitant. I think something we have to keep in mind with people is, growing up, if you're fortunate enough, you have parents that are breathing belief into you. You have people telling you how, oh, you're so good at that, you're so beautiful, you're so talented, and then a lot of the people that we encounter, they haven't had anybody breathe belief into them in a long time. And so I think the important thing that for me, what I do is a constant reminder, like, you are really incredible and talented. Like, they need someone to remind them of who God made them to be. Like, you are good at this. And it's not if you did this, you would be a diamond. It's when you jump in here, you are really going to do well. And I also do this. I'll tell people, I'll say, listen, I was with you. I was one of those people. Okay. I'll say, listen, give me 6 months, 6 months, go all in. I think that the 2 things that are holding people back is, one, they don't have belief that they can do it, right? Well, that's for you. More people or whatever it is, it's a belief factor and it's a fear factor. And so you have to help people get over their fear. People are fearful about what other people will think. I was terrified about what people will think. You guys, Jessica Heffley came over to my house when I made my first post and forced me to hit the post button. And I vomited behind my house 4 times after I did it. I was that nervous about what people would think about me. But I couldn't feed my kids. It was like, you have to help people get over their fear. what's the worst thing that can happen? I used to worry because I told my coach this one time, when you're developing yourself, you get coaches. And I was like, I made a post on Instagram, like you told me to, and I did some kind of a reel. And I was like, and I lost followers. Like, yeah, that's going to happen because those aren't your people. You guys, there are going to be people that are not your people, that don't support what you do, right? It even talks about that in the Bible. I mean, not everyone is going to be for us. We were not promised a life of ease and likability. All it's just not something we were promised. But when you are really, really, really focused and honing in on your purpose and who you're supposed to help, and I think that when you're able to help other people see that, they kind of come along with you. A lot of it is helping other people grow. It's helping other people grow. That's what I also believe. There's healing power there as far as sick wise goes, right? I was very, very sick. You also have to remember the environment I was in, an angry, scary, hateful environment, and my body was not coping. And then I had Jessica Heffley come along and say, you are incredible. People love you. These products work. They help you. And it was finally, for the first time since I left Mom, and somebody was telling me they loved me, they believed in me, I could do this. There was hope for a better life. And that's what a lot of people need. I said, give me 6 months. What if you went all in for 6 months? If you don't make a dime in 6 months and you don't love the life that you've created, being genuinely you could just not do it anymore. But go all in for 6 months and let's just see what happens. And if people go all in for 6 months with your encouragement, belief, and leadership, they're going to get to gold, maybe even senior gold or ruby, if they're a person of influence, high quality. But I've seen people radically change their life. I have seen people that I didn't know, we do our 3-way calls and they get on. I have seen a woman who did not believe in herself. She was 70 pounds overweight, living in a trailer, miserable, unhappy. I'd never seen her smile. She had and all I did was say, you can do this. And you can live a better life, and you can be like, and it was just, she needed to hear she was valued and loved. She needed to hear all the things Jesus had to say to her. And this woman smiles all the time now. She's lost the weight. She loves Plexus. She has a nice, strong, senior gold business, and doesn't have to have the 3 jobs anymore. She gets to take time with her because she just needed to have somebody say, you are like, the world needs exactly what you have. Just because she was injured in a car accident and so she couldn't smile all the way, people just need to have a lot of belief built up, and they need to say, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? People you don't even like don't like you. Psh, okay. Which is easier said. It's easier said than done, for sure. But that's where I think it comes into. When you create such a phenomenal community and family within your team, the loss of the losers, it doesn't seem like anything because of everything gained, because of the people you've gained that love you so much. Okay, there was a question in the chat that said, what's your favorite leadership book? I love, as far as leadership books, I love anything by John Maxwell. I think he's phenomenal. The 5 levels of leadership. That's a great book, y'all. That's a hard one. When I say hard, I mean, because I just read it and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm not the level I need to be, but like with my team, actually in February, I'm doing a book study on the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. So if you just need like 21 things to grab onto and practice, I think that that's a good one. Those are both by John Maxwell.
Ryan, thank you so much. I want to wrap up with one personal note is that something fun has happened to you in the last couple of years, and you have a new last name. So we talked about your boys in your first marriage, but do you want to give them a little update? Because you talked about 7 bathrooms, and I'm guessing it's not for the 3 of you. So
no, I recently got remarried. I have an amazing husband. It's one reason why my eyes have been opened to marketing. So he is the head of marketing for a multi-billion-dollar company. His name is Matt Guilford. He has 3 kiddos. So we are a family of 7 together. And he is the kindest, calmest, most loved person on the planet. There isn't anybody that doesn't meet him that isn't like completely drawn in, because he's just so fun and wonderful. So, and he actually leaves town today for business. I'll be okay. But yeah, he's wonderful. Come to where are we going? Mexico. Wait, no.
We're going to Mexico in September.
Nashville is next, I guess, but I don't know if he'll be in Nashville because it's the same time as his work conference. But yeah, come meet him anytime. See me. Everybody loves to get to know him.
He's so smart. We, because Ryan and I have been on focus groups together, I've actually been on chats, and then all of a sudden she'll be, okay, Matt, you just explain this real fast. And so he'll just voice message all of us explaining like kind of this marketing thing or like what they've been talking about. And I would just say like having a power partner that you can like bounce ideas off of and thoughts off of. And I love watching them run her business together because he's so wise. And I just think what a gift from God that I think his kids are right around the same age as your boys. Like y'all kind of like.
Yeah. So we have, he has a 15. Whoa, he just turned 16 this week. So we have a 16-year-old. Then we have 2 6th graders. So 6th graders, but they're a year apart. But 6th graders, and then a 5th grader and a 3rd grader. So yeah.
So Ryan could use all the prayers.
Yes.
Because all those ages are hard, which Becky and Ellen and I like. Those are.
I'm just basically a taxi service at this point. I didn't know about the taxi service thing until I got the stepkids, and now my job is to drive people around to their sporting events.
So true. They run our lives. Ryan, thank you so much. Thank you for your story. Honestly, I knew so much of it, but hearing it all from you with your heart behind it is game changer. I really love the softening of your heart that God did through Jessica, that he knew he had something for you and he needed Jessica to be that vehicle. And I love the fact that she was shaking, because I think we all know that even as no matter what level you are in this company, no matter what rank, there is terrifying to walk up to someone and go, I know you need this. And even if you slam the door in my face, like I can't walk out without you having this gift of the products. And then I think, just the knowledge that you needed that business and what you've done with it is incredible. You have been so obedient with this and such a good steward of this gift of Plexus. Thank you so much for just spending an hour of your Monday pouring into this team. I hope everybody has gotten just a nugget out of it that God wanted just for you. And we will see all of y'all later. Bye, y'all.
Thanks, guys.